Hey there, Thunk00 here, and well, it's my first time recording one of these videos in a long time. It hasn't been the longest I've gone without recording since I started making SimCity 4 videos. It's the second or third, but well, that's beside the point. There's a lot of news to share. As you can see, the region has grown tremendously since the last video I brought you. This whole periphery along the along the southwest here of the originally developed part of the region. Two major new cities along the same lake as Lakewood here, as well as the beginnings of a third. And all of this development in the Northern Valley area is also new. All of this has incorporated a lot of transportation improvements as well. You might remember this highway from an earlier video. It now goes north to south along pretty much the whole eastern edge of the region and will continue further northward and southward in due time. I've also built some new highways that didn't exist before, including this snaky coastal highway, which will, well, in all likelihood it'll become a more important route than any of the others that exist at this point. But that's a really long way off. And there's another north-south highway over here, which connects things west of the lake pretty much, and it hooks up to the road network around the lake. So there's actually a circle of mostly highways going around the lake at this point. The only time you aren't on a highway grade road is going through the Lakewood city tile pretty much, and also through the center of this city for only a very short while. So yeah, this lake is pretty much rapidly emerging as powerful, or not powerful, but a major metro area sort of in its totality, which is pretty cool. This is also the first time I'm playing in a few days though, because something kind of unfortunate happened to me while I was developing this city tile here. As you can see from the zones and transportation view and everything, it's almost completely filled out pretty much, except for this small corner over here with a lot of complex looking industrial and residential areas. But it seems like the save file for that city got corrupted somehow. I tried to make a post on Metropolitan and SE4 Devotion asking if anybody could give me hints of what might have caused that, but nobody really gave me anything useful at all. So this is lost. I'm gonna have to rebuild it from scratch. It was pretty disheartening, but yeah, that's life. Yeah, one other thing before I get into actually playing the game for this session is in my time since I recorded the last video, I've created a number of screenshot mosaics, which means collections of screenshots from all over a city tile, all stitched together into one big picture to kind of show you everything. So I have mosaics of Lakewood, which is not so different from how you saw it in the last video. I also made a mosaic of this city, Emmonsfield, which is new, and also of Annapolis, another new city, and this was probably the most popular mosaic I made. But that's a bit beside the point. I think I'll link the pictures in the video description, just for those who haven't seen them yet. I only really posted them on the major fan sites and also Reddit, but you know, that doesn't really get to everybody, so hopefully you'll get a chance to see those three. Anyway, for today, I thought that we would go into this city, which has rapidly emerged as the second largest in the region, surpassing Joinville there. I didn't really intend for it to be so populous, but the game pretty much figures population more by city tile, or not city tile, but more by the amount of tiles that you've zoned for whatever use, as opposed to the amount of road frontage that the zones take up or the size of the buildings that grow. I mean, it seems a bit silly to me, but yeah, that's the reason that this is already a lot bigger than Joinville. In fact, yeah, it was even bigger than Joinville after the first session I played in it. I've only played 2 sessions in this city so far. The first one was where I built most of it up. You know, the main transportation networks, the main grid for downtown, this industrial area, which is pretty apparent right now on the loading screen, and the farms and everything. And even with just that much, it had already rocketed itself to the space of number 2 in population. So I figured I might as well develop it even further at that point, since it is at a pretty major highway junction. And yeah, so that's why I built all this stuff that's sort of to the west of the original area. You can see that there's a lot of unzoned land between it, covered in those autumnal trees right there. And that's because it's very steep mostly, and also I wanted to sort of keep as much of a, you know, as much of the character of the landscape as I could. So this suburban area is pretty much what I built in the second session I played in this city, and yeah, there's still quite a bit left to do. In particular, what I thought I would do today, and I thought it would make for a particularly interesting video, would be to upgrade one of the main roads through town, this east-west one, because it has a somewhat ridiculous amount of traffic right now. And, well, you'll see in a minute, but it is RHW, but it's RHW2, so it's very narrow, just one lane each direction, and it also has frequent intersections without turn lanes. So it would be kind of a nightmare to have to go a significant distance on that road every day, because, you know, it'd probably be moving at like 12 miles an hour, if anything, with frequent sudden stops and probably people doing crazy stuff on the shoulder. Yeah, but you can get a taste for this road here. It runs from the west of the city tile on east. Whoop, a lot of pop-ups here. On east through all of the main, like this is the new residential area, but it passes through pretty much all of the main residential areas of the city. And, you know, I really like it how it is, narrow, tree-lined boulevard, but let's see if we can bring up the traffic view really quickly. Yeah, it pretty much speaks for itself. It's completely red toward the center of town. So, yeah, that's definitely something that we could afford to improve, I think. So, I might as well get right down to that without any further delays, I suppose. So the way I was thinking of doing this was to upgrade the entire thing to RHW4, probably with an empty tile in the middle, which I will give over to some more of these great looking maples. Yeah, so let's get started with the demolitions, I suppose. Might as well do most of it at once. Now, I've also got to figure out where these bus stops are going to go, because obviously they can't be right in the middle of the path of the RHW4. I might as well keep them as RTMT stations. So I guess I'll just do that and just make sure to not put them anywhere where a zone would get blocked. Oof, you've got to demolish a bit more than that in order to get this to work. So okay. Whoop, that's the wrong bus stop, of course. No wonder it didn't work. I thought that it was not wanting to be plopped because there was too much slope or something, but I guess not. Yeah, over here. Hopefully I won't have to regrade this road. Yep, it looks like it's going to be fine. Same goes for this one. And yeah, we're already right to the middle of downtown. You can see it's a pretty low-rise downtown for a city of this size. Well, not that much. But it's also very industrial in character. Not all that much commercial stuff going on. There's a bit more around Main Street here and the train station, but yeah, that's wherever. By the way, by Main Street, I mean this street here. I've just been calling that to myself, because I think of it as maybe the more historic thoroughfare through town, whereas this wider one might have been built more recently, along with the highway to the north and south. But yeah, I'm not sure that I'm gonna actually be able to preserve these great looking tulips here, which is quite a shame, but I think we will manage. Whoop, looks like that was, yeah, it looks like I had to get rid of one plop there, but hopefully I'll be able to replace it just fine using a simple zone. And yep, also going to need to clear space around here. I might as well get rid of some of these repeat buildings and rezone, because it will look better anyway. Yep, just like that. And that fire station, I think it is, will also have to find a new spot. That really was an optimal one at that intersection, but I'll figure that out in a minute. So, might as well get finish up the demolition portion of the retrofit. And we are out into the countryside already. Okay. So that's good. Let me replace those two bus stops really quick though. And got them. So, might as well start laying down the road, even though I haven't really fully figured out how I'm going to manage it for the full length of its course. So what I want here with the new NAM menu is the width transitions, I believe. Yeah, the RHW2 to RHW4 symmetrical transition sounds like just what I need. And I'll have the highway start a few tiles out of town, you know, just because why not? That's the way it often works in real life, right? And just start dragging this highway through. Yep, looks good. Now, of course, one thing we're going to have to do is get rid of the through street connections. Eventually I'll create a few main intersections, but people in general are going to have to only make right turns onto the highway and then loop around if they need to go the other way. So okay, over here I was thinking that I would actually try to use, what's it called, the really wide NWM avenues. Yeah, I mean, why am I blanking on this? It's AV6 or maybe TLA7. Just seems like a... And that way I would be able to still have turn lanes for this main intersection here. And I'm just dragging this highway through now because I want the override. Alright, that's enough for the override in general. but it might take up too much space in order to have the transition in time and everything. So I'm gonna just experiment a little bit for now. Might be tearing this all out in a moment. Let's find the width transitions again, and let's back tab. Wow, they've got all these elevated transitions now. I think I read about that, but I hadn't quite realized. Okay. Yeah, that's the one I want. So I'm gonna need to... yeah, it's really looking a little bit too big, I think. Unless I was to get rid of one of these street connections here. I might as well give it a try like that. This time I'll forward tab, because it seems like that's much faster. Yeah. So I could place it like that, but I think it would probably be smarter to move it back just a little bit more. Oof, but no, I have to demolish all the starter pieces first. I forgot that those are included for the RHW4 as well. Oh well. So I guess this tile would probably be a good place to put it. And the slope is really bumpy here. You know what? I'm gonna just do it all over again. Yeah, hopefully that'll fix it up a little bit. So, width transitions, wherever that is. Yep, there it is. Alright. So let's put that in, and yeah, it looks a lot more smooth now. Very nice. So over here, I guess, we just will have a non-connecting street. It'll be a curb or something. You see such things in real life. Maybe not that often, but often enough. Alright. So now I might as well drag out the road. And, ooh, looks like, well, I thought I'd be good there, but it looks like I need another tile for the override to work properly. So, we'll have to replop that width transition one last time, it looks like. Yeah, back here should be good. Alright, W2 to drag it out. And presto, works perfectly. Okay, so this is, well, it's definitely quite a bit wider than what I had here before. You know, I think this is actually my first time using NWN 3-tile network. I never really used them in Prospect Bay or my region before that. So yeah, this is a new experience, I guess you could say. Yep, now eventually I'll get the tulips in properly over there. And since the road is wider now, I might as well widen the tulips as well. So, where am I gonna put the transition back to RHW4? I'm thinking it'd be a good idea to not do it until a few blocks after downtown, just so that there is, you know, that extra capacity where it's probably going to be needed most. And I got rid of my override over there, but I'm going to be getting a new one anyway, so it's no big deal. I might as well do this mathematically and try to count toward which street is the least significant and have that be the non-connected one. Or, well, I don't think I'll actually count, but I guess I'll just look over here and try to figure out which one goes the fewest places. Yeah. Looks like this would be the street to interrupt. Or heck, I'm changing my mind. That's a bit too far out, I think. Instead, I will have the street be over here. Or the non-connecting street, I mean. Replace that bus stop with that type. And that's nice that there's a fence there. It'll keep people from wandering into the course of the highway. Okay, so with transitions yet again, and let's place this shit. I think that's just the perfect amount of space. Might as well drag the RHW4 out for a little bit of a distance. Yeah, just like that. Then it'll have to be over here too. Yeah, and looks like everything's working swimmingly here. And I can draw it out all the way. Alright, this is great. I think that, it's just the kind of look I was going for. So one thing I do want to do though is fix slopes in a couple areas, and one thing that'll entail is rebuilding this transition one more time. No big deal really, and I might as well rebuild as far back as there, and improve the grade as far as I can as well. Alright. Seems like we are fairly well set. So, let's see. Man, I'm gonna have to actively search for this menu item every time, huh? Yeah, that's where I wanted it. Okay, I would say this is really not perfect. Yeah, that'll be a bit better, I guess. Ooh, I'm actually gonna have to move this back one more tile. Yeah, that's just how it goes, I guess. Might as well fix the slope one last time as part of that. Alright, so No, I made the exact same mistake as I did just a moment ago. Alright, I'm going to demolish it a tile further back, and hopefully that will make me stop fucking up. Yeah, that's right, because I need 2 tiles approaching the intersection in order for the override to be stable. Alright, so let's get rid of that stuff, and gotta have a stub of RHW before you can draw a road out of it here. But looks like I got that covered. And now, You know what? I really might as well widen this highway as far back as over here. I'll have to get rid of some signs in order to do that, but those can always be replaced, right? So I want to have a little bit of the highway running straight as 2 lanes before it jumps into that curve there, so I think I'll put my transition here. The second place, not the first one. That first one was a mistake. And I'll have to do some more treeing work, but there was already a fair bit that needed to be done, so that's no big deal. Alright, now let's get rid of the rest of this roadway. Might as well draw those streets through for now. And okay, that is it. Now the most complicated part will be to get the or the most complicated part remaining at least would be to get a nice fractional angle curve to work over here. Yep, that looks right. And that does not look as right. Yeah. What the heck happened there? I guess it was following the contours of the zone next to it, maybe? Who knows? It's weird behavior. Yeah. So let's get our curve the right way this time, i.e. like that. Now, seems important to me that, wow, these slopes really are pretty, how would you say, these slopes really are pretty extreme. So I'll try to moderate things as much as I really can. Okay. Actually, it doesn't look so bad after all if I can really flatten it for this much space. Okay, yeah, it looks like I should be more or less set as far as getting things to work, so long as these 2 curve pieces don't misbehave. So, okay, that one is being congenial, and that one, well, it probably would have been, but I screwed it up myself. Okay, so, yes, perfect. Actually, I don't know if it's perfect, because I don't know if it will quite line up, but I'll have that all figured out in a minute, and if it's wrong, I can just redo it. Well, I'm going to have to redo that for sure right away. I guess I have to do it with these pieces from this side still. It's a bit archaic like that. And yeah, sure enough, I'm 1 tile off, it looks like. So I'm going to have to rebuild those curves 1 time. No biggie, no biggie. So that would place this one right here. And this one right there. Perfect. Just how I like to see it. So now if I drag this on through, ideally, well, I guess today not everything is being ideal because it doesn't quite line up. Okay, that's not the end of the world. I can use some simple lane shift pieces to solve it. Because there isn't really quite enough space here, I don't think, to make the fractional angle curve any bigger without losing my override. So it's going to be what I'm going to have to do. So where's... Yep, this is the piece I wanted. Looks like I can have one here. And maybe one there. It's very asymmetrical. Oh, it's because I didn't fix the slopes here beforehand. Well, that's a screw up. So I'm actually not going to keep that quite yet. Because I want things to have a more gradual slope. Alright, so let's bring it through like this. Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted. And then I guess the lane shift will... I don't like it, but it's going to have to be very close to these houses over here. And yeah, I can't do that. That would break the diagonals up here, which is a no-no. So what else can I do here? Let me see if I can get my railway slope to work further. Yep. Things are starting to shape up. So let's demolish all this crap. Okay. Almost there. Yep, just like that. And the lane shift is going to be, well, first off, let me just make sure that this slope is working the way I want it to. And it appears to be more or less. It's still pretty sudden, but I don't know, I guess there's just not too much to do there. So, it is what it is. Now, yeah, the lane shifts I want are under curves. And they can't necessarily be built all that close together, so I'll keep that in mind. And it looks like I went right past it. I guess it would be before the MIS stuff. Yeah. Well, just my roommate coming in with stuff to talk about. But I'm back in the game now. Yeah. Well, actually, I don't know if I even need to explain that, really. The pause in the recording is probably almost unnoticeable on your guys' end, but yeah, I don't know. Might as well, right? So, okay, hopefully putting my starter pieces there will work fine. And yeah, seems like there's no problem at all. Just the way I like it. So let's complete this highway. Well, still got to demolish a little bit of railway though. And yeah, perfect, perfect, perfect. Yeah, that all went very nice and smoothly. So the first thing I might as well do is replace some signs. Yeah, it's really not too important what they say. Whoop. Actually, that's not the way I wanted that one to face. So I'll have that one going that way. I guess there doesn't really need to be a sign for people coming from the eastward direction. But there probably should be for people who are just making it to this road. And we'll have another one on this side. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I'm thinking that this road right here will likely eventually be upgraded, but yeah, I'm gonna wait a minute to do that until I figure out what I'm gonna do with the intersections for this whole area. So okay, there's some other signs I would like to place. Signs, by the way, are a pretty new thing to me in SimCity 4. I really only started downloading them since my last recording session before this one. So that's a pretty cool. I don't know, I think that they're cool. They add a lot. Might as well have an approaching divided highway type sign over there, although I do want it to face the right way. Whoop. Which is not that way. Will it stay if I put it like that? Yes. No! Yeah, I might as well give it a bit of space, I suppose. Now, I might as well put a similar sign on the other side of the map. And get rid of that tile of farmland because it looks out of place. So now let's see, I'm not sure if this set has a good road narrows sign, but it looks like it does. So I'll also be able to use that. Yeah, I'll put it by the road with plenty of space to spare, so that people have plenty of time to sort of get over if they need to, or to slow down and make room. Yep, and then a similar sign, I suppose, I will have on this side. Might as well put it right here. And yeah, that looks good. Good, good, good. Let's see, maybe another road narrows sign for the end of the 5th and 6th lanes, but nah, I don't think I'll do that actually. I mean, the pavement markings are really clear enough as is. Well, I suppose it could be better, but whatever. There's not really space for signs anymore anyway. So one thing I really might as well do right away, or at least as long as I'm thinking about it, is the tulips for this main intersection. And also improve that intersection. And, whoop, I didn't mean to demolish that house, but, well, just call it collateral damage, I suppose. So, let's grab our basic ones first, I suppose. The avenue stuff. Use the Type A transition. And on both sides I'm leaving space for 4 tiles of turning lane, which I don't normally do, but well, it is a pretty damn big road, right? Yeah, that's the Type A. So the way I like doing tulips recently for big stuff like this is to alternate the arrows with the blank tiles. I think it looks a little bit more realistic, which is good. Except I had the wrong version of the Type A blank tiles there, but now I have it all correct. Okay, so now let's do the NWM tulips, I suppose. Yeah, first time I've used these too. I guess you only plop them in the central tile, and obviously facing the other way. So let me put one of those on both sides. And then, yep, Type A1, Type A1. Rotate that around. Type A1, Type A1. Then let's get the blanks in too. Yep. Alright, that was pretty smooth. And yeah, that was actually even simpler than I thought, and I thought it would be simple. Okay, so now that I have that done, I might as well replace the fire station that I had to get rid of to make room for the new intersection. And I think I will continue to have it right on the intersection itself because, you know, it's clearly an important civic building and it's the kind of thing you'd want there, right? Now, one other cool thing that upgrading this to AV6 or TLA7 as opposed to a highway is that it will allow me to put zones fronting on this road in areas where I couldn't before. So I'm going to do that really quick. And yeah, looks good, looks good. So, I think we are almost set. There's really just a couple more things that I want to do here. Let me just take a look at my traffic map really quick, just to get an idea of how many intersections I have and where they are. So I think what I'm gonna do is upgrade this road here to Road 2 and make this intersection a turnaround point for people on the highway. It also means I'll have to do something about the bus stop, of course. I might as well replace it with another type. This commercial building doesn't really look that good already, so I guess I'll move it back a tile. Yeah, I think this will work for us, and because this road is going to handle a lot of volume, I really might as well increase the commercial stuff alongside it as well. Yeah, maybe even have an apartment building here at some point. Yeah, this might have been another main road if it didn't intersect with if it wasn't already on a TLA7 part of the highway, so you know that means that it's already pretty much a turning point. Now, just trying to figure out where else I'm going to have my turnarounds. Seems like it makes perfect sense to have one over here, since this is a pretty significant road. And might as well have it continue all the way up into this neighborhood here. Maybe the road can narrow right as it goes in the middle of those buildings there. That should be okay. And yeah, eventually I might make this You know, I think I'll make it a road to as far south as here for now. Actually, keep it street for that intersection tile. I might as well. Yeah, and eventually I can, if I build more on the left side of this road, I think I'll extend it or upgrade it further south as well, but I don't know if that's happening yet. So, yeah, that's two intersections on the west side of the city, but it looks like since they are here and here, this would probably be a liable candidate for a third and final intersection. Yeah, I'm just trying to think for a minute about how this would work. You would pretty much have to transition to street almost immediately on this side of things, but you know, still would be an upgraded road for the most problematic segment over there, so looks like this road's a keeper. And I think I'll make it an upgraded roadway as far as this main street here. So thankfully roads are a lot more slope tolerant than streets are, otherwise it might be a big pain to replace this here. Whoop. So I'm not going to make the curves any more gradual or anything like that. I figure that's not too important, at least for now. So, yeah, that looks like it's set so far. Except, oh, why aren't my draggable smooth curves working? I was under the impression that I had some draggable smooth curves that would be, yeah, good there, but I guess not. So how can I do this intersection then? Well, it is a road, so my diagonal capabilities are a lot greater than they were with the street. So I wonder if I could get this to connect right. Yeah, seems like I'm pretty much almost pushing it to the limit as far as what the slope can handle there. But it will work, I guess. Place that bus stop really quick. So that's probably good on that. In the meanwhile, I wonder if I want to make another east-west road artery just to connect up all of these loose ends here. And you know what? It might not be completely necessary with the added capacity up here, but I think I'm going to go for it. Yep. Get it working for the whole time, and one really nice advantage about doing it building it as a road too as opposed to a street is that I can do more articulated and interesting looking curves like this, which incorporates a bit of fractional angle functionality. So I think that's a cool little advantage. And I'm just gonna terrace things a bit there so that it looks a little bit more normal. So yeah, that connects together all of the new intersections. And it's just wondering whether I should continue the parallel arterial road at all, and my general feeling is no. Yeah, I might make this an arterial at some point, and then I can see about maybe transitioning into maybe making a 90-degree curve at this intersection or something with it. But for now, I think we are fine without one. So, wow, all that's really left before I just let development go and see how things turn out is to re-tree things. So there are some places where I just want to use the normal God mode trees. For instance, around here. And hopefully I won't be getting rid of too many of these nice deciduous maples. Yep, around here as well I think we will use the God mode trees. Yeah, this area looks like I might have never retreed it since building this fractional angle stuff in the first place. So that's a good catch. Might as well build the trees a bit closer in on the edges, if possible. And then, for the median of this highway though, I want to do something a bit different and really focus on the maple forest. And I don't want to make it too, repetitive, but I do want it to have sort of the same, fall tree-lined feeling that it did when it was a narrower boulevard. So let's get those trees all in. It'll take a minute, but trust me, it will be really worth it. Alright. Wow, looking beautiful, isn't it? Okay, wow. And we are already back into the transition between the new and old areas of town. And let's get those trees as far in as they'll go. Looks like that's the end of it though. Yeah, that should be good. Now, of course, there's the other side to do. And you know what? In my focus on the west side of the city, I completely forgot to create a new intersection over here for people to turn around. So I think I'm going to do that right away if I can. Yeah, this becomes a dirt road rather fast, but it is one of the major routes across the train tracks as well, so it does make sense to upgrade this intersection. So how should I do this? I suppose I'll just do this. Then I'll only have to move one zone as opposed to several. And then draw the street all the way on through. Might as well have the yellow line continue until that curve and end there. Not really too concerned about how it works out. yeah, and the idea with these intersections here is that there's no traffic light, as you can see. There probably would be in real life, but if you're in the left lane, you just kind of hook a left right away, and then you wait on this 50-foot little stub in order to cross the oncoming traffic. And well, it does have the potential to back up very quickly as opposed to a full-size turning lane, but it's also a big improvement over only one traffic lane in either direction, so that's a good thing. I'm actually gonna take the opportunity at this point to go off camera really quick, I think, and save, and then after that I will let the time start running, and we'll see how a couple of these new zones start developing, and also how traffic adapts to the changes that have been made. So yeah, it won't seem like it to you, but see you in a minute. Alright, I got that save in, and it looks like we're already at almost an hour that I've been recording, or well, over 50 minutes at least. So that seems like a pretty good reason to not dilly-dally any further and to just let the simulator run for a year and, you know, actually do things. Wow, that's a very low density building for that intersection there. I might actually keep it though. Lick a chick? I don't know, actually. I think I have a ploppable version on the next street over, maybe. Or actually, I don't. Huh. I do like those trees. And it is an auto-oriented neighborhood. Well, to a certain extent at least. There's already the huge parking lot next to it. I think that I'll just have it grow into something else eventually. Looks like it might not be doing that this year though. Yeah, these apartments really don't look that great. I kind of want to get rid of them and yeah, have something else in their place. Looks like traffic's using the main road already. That's very good. We're just a little bit off from the stopping point, for the simulator at least. And wow, I'm just hearing accident after accident. That's problematic. So let's take a look at the congestion map. Yeah, it looks like those accidents mostly have to do with this avenue here. Yeah, it's sucky, but I don't know really what there is to be done, because I can't widen the avenue any further south without sacrificing this fractional angle curve, unless I widen it all the way to the next city tile, which doesn't make too much sense in the absence of too much development down there. But yeah, this is, in the new scheme of things, this is actually the only really point of serious congestion at all. There's congestion elsewhere, but it's generally only around intersecting roads and only for a tile or two at a time. Yep, same deal going on pretty much everywhere. Traffic volumes are pretty much following the routes I wanted them to, so that's always good to see, although it's not necessarily the hardest to engineer. I think it's interesting how everybody who's going westbound is apparent. No, there's just nobody going westbound, I guess, except for a few pedestrians and buses. Yeah, interesting. I guess they'd all go westbound during the evening commute. How many people, I wonder, have to get on the highway and then turn around? It's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, I don't know. It's really not too important so long as the congestion isn't, you know, too bad. Of course these single tile roads are going to be all red, but, well, yeah, I just don't know really what I can do about that. Yeah, so that's about it for this video. I guess one way I could make it the ending interesting for you guys would be to do a quick pan out and just give you a bit of a view of what this place looks like, you know, on a wider scale. Oh yeah, by the the name Jamaica, it has nothing to do with the island. It's actually named after Jamaica Queens. I'm not really sure why I picked it, but it seemed like a pretty good name at the time, and yeah, I think it works well enough, and it certainly did turn into quite the beautiful city over here. And in future videos, I'll probably bring you back here in order to do further residential expansion and other upgrades similar to this one. But, well, it was a pretty fun episode today. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. It was a little something unique. See you next time.